It's time for Let's Get Digital Treasure Coast with digital marketing experts Megan Nager and Corey Turner. Let's Get Digital Friday, marketing for the modern age. And now, here are your hosts.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the show.
Welcome. If you are watching on the live feed on YouTube, you may have noticed that Corey and I traded places.
That's right. So if we sound a little bit different, if I sound better, I'm on the main mic today.
Ooh.
But Megan's still the main host.
No, we're both the hosts, Corey.
Yeah,
we're both the
I'm
hosts.
the color commentator.
Okay. We are back with Let's Get Digital. Happy Friday. I love that we do the show on Friday because I'm always excited for the weekend. So I hope everyone has exciting or relaxing weekend plans. This is Let's Get Digital. I'm your host, Megan Nager.
And I'm Corey Turner, and we are with Wake and Make Media, wakeandmakemedia.com.
Wake and Make Media. And this is if this is your first time tuning in, Corey and I are the owners of Wake and Make Media, and it is a full-scale digital marketing agency and production house that specializes in creating high-quality digital content. So simply put, we make really great video content for brands and businesses that drives customers, because right now, if you are not online, you should be, but if you are already online, you really should be focusing on posting video, because that is the main thing. So that is what we specialize in. We are filmmakers turned marketers, and we make really great videos for brands and businesses. And
you can put on all the digitals, all the social medias, all the things online.
Exactly. And I always say this in the beginning of the episode, but again, if it's your first time tuning in, when we do refer to digital content, like Corey just said, we mean anything you put online, literally pictures, blogs, graphics, etc., social media posts, website, landing page, email. You could put a video on any of those, to be honest. Well, except for pictures. You can't put a video on a picture. I guess you could, kind of.
It's a GIF.
It's a GIF.
That's what a GIF is.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
No, I don't know.
Kind of.
I'm just making things up right now.
So for the past few weeks, we have been covering different aspects of marketing and giving you guys tips and tricks that can be implemented today for little to no cost. And in today's episodes, we're going to show you some more low to no cost marketing methods that lead to big results, specifically on social media. So, really what I'm talking about is getting started with creating organic content. And that means this includes only creating content that basically costs nothing or close to nothing. This is not making video for ads, for instance. This is literally making Corey, what do you think of as organic content?
I was just about to jump in. Thank you so much. So
welcome.
basically, organic content is content that, like Megan just said, that you make, but you don't put ad spend behind. And so it takes on a whole different, idea behind it, because you want to be more subtle about organic content. It's not, hey, buy this right now because look at this great deal. It's usually a more longer term, something that will be up on your social medias, on your digital, on your website for, months or years, something that doesn't go away, because the sale's over or something like that. So it's, typically like a series is a good idea, something that you made that is informational, less salesy, doesn't have ad spend behind it. That's organic content.
Exactly. And so we are going to talk about how to create a successful social media brand pretty much based on organic content for next to nothing. So some of this may be repetitive. In our past episodes, we have spent a lot of time talking about social media, but today we're going to get a little more specific, and we are going to tell you some marketing methods that lead to big results. And so if you are this basically works if you've never been on social media, have not started a brand or business. Literally, if you haven't started a brand or business, want to start one, or you already have one, this can apply. So don't change the station just yet. If you already have your whole social media profile set up and everything else, because all this can still work.
This could be for the brand new people or the people who've been in it for years.
Exactly. And there are so many platforms and content on all of them. And there are so many people on all of these platforms. We've talked about like literally the millions, billions of people on social media across all of them. And so I think that can make it feel really difficult to stand out as a brand or business or to compete with all of this content. But we keep talking about having the importance of having a social media presence. And so, you need to do something. And I just want to say, if you did miss our last episodes, you can always check them out by searching Let's Get Digital, wherever you listen to podcasts or on YouTube.
We film these things.
We do.
So you could see our beautiful faces on YouTube. I cut them up in a couple days. They'll be on YouTube.
There you
Check
go.
them out.
Full episode and clips. Yeah, clips. Okay, so just to reemphasize how important videos are, by the way, I found this stat last night. It's a new stat that came out recently, and it says 86% of businesses in 2022 are using video as one of their main marketing tools. 86%. That's crazy.
That blew my mind when Megan told me that. 86%. I mean, come on. That's a lot.
That's a lot. It's so much higher than even 2020. Like even 2021, it's skyrocketed. And to add on to it, out of the people who are not using video, 79% of those people said they're going to start using video this year. So basically, again, if you're not using video on your website, your social media, etc., you are missing out big time.
Yeah, and I mean, you could really just immediately see the utilization of video on the second you go on social media right now, or you go on anyone's website or something like that. It's just so much of a better way to explain something, so much better way to show off a product. It's just, it's more clear on what these things are than you can get out of a video than in any photo possible.
It's true. And another thing to add is that all of these apps, basically once like TikTok kind of started popping off around like 2017, TikTok is only video, and so many creators were leaving like Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all to go on TikTok because their content was getting seen so much more because there weren't as many creators on it. It was a newer app. And now that all these other apps saw that, they're competing with TikTok. And that means that they are all emphasizing video. So if you post a picture on Instagram now, it's guaranteed to get maybe like a third, a quarter of the amount of eyeballs on it that a video would. So these apps are purposely pushing video, and they're not going to promote your pictures or graphics as much as they would a video.
And they'll even show, specifically in the case of like YouTube, actually all of them, Instagram, if you post a picture, they're only going to show that to maybe 10% of your followers. If you post a video, they're going to show it to all your followers, and they're going to show it to people who aren't following you.
Yeah, that's true.
Unsolicited.
You are getting, and that's how you grow. That's the only way you grow. If it keeps only going to your followers, which is obviously totally fine, especially if you're selling a product and these people keep coming back to you. But if you want to gain new clients, you need to get the reach past just your followers. You need to reach other people.
So let me just give a quick example of what
Love.
that means, okay? So in terms of maybe like a more legacy advertising technique, it's the difference between putting a billboard in your backyard where, you're just going to, people that are going to see it are like your friends and family that you invite over to your backyard shindig, right? No one else is going to see it because you got a fence around your backyard or something. The public can't just walk in, versus a billboard on a busy street. A lot of people are going to see that. The people that you don't know, people you've never heard of, people just driving down that street are going to see that. So, is it obvious? I think it's pretty obvious which way to go with that.
Yeah, and that's a very good analogy. That's that's how silly it is if you're not doing video.
Yeah.
Instead of I know that's a lot, and so we know video is super important, and again, that's probably very intimidating if you haven't done it before. You don't even know where to begin. You probably feel like, let's just throw some content out and see what happens, which can work. I did that years ago. I mean, sometimes I still do it. You can always experiment, but you need to have some sort of strategy. So it's important to be strategic, and we are going to show you guys how to do that. So there are 3 core tenets to focus on for organic growth reach, specifically on social media. 1, you need to show up online, which is very simple, meaning you need to show up. Literally, just start your, just basically start your profile.
Be there.
Be there.
Be
That's
there.
it.
Yeah. Be on the platform. Be there.
Be there. Okay. 2, go out and engage with your ideal client. So posting is great, but if people are commenting, if people are messaging you, I've seen this a bunch. I've done this before. You don't respond to anything. Those people are going to stop interacting with you and most likely unfollow you. You need to keep up a conversation. 3, you need to give the platforms what they want. And right now, that is short form video. We keep saying that, but that's literally you have to give them what they want, which sometimes I feel like, no, I don't want to do what these platforms want. I want to post what I want. But at the same time,
They'll make you pay.
yeah, like then you can do whatever you want, but pay for the ad and then it'll get seen. I mean, and if you don't care about.
No, I mean, they'll make you pay in terms of you not following what they want, that you won't get any views or subscribers.
Oh, yeah. They're kind of, they're kind of crappy in that way. They're like, they're controlling it. It's their algorithm. And so as much as I think we have free speech, free say on these platforms, a lot of the times you do have to abide by their rules and guidelines. And right now, that's just where it's heading. And we also love videos, so I'm not upset about this. And I think most people would rather watch a video than sit there and read like a 3-page paper or a blog. Like in 2016, I feel like around there, blogs were a lot more popular. People would want to read more. Today, people have attention spans of like a grape.
Totally.
I don't know what attention spans grapes have, but
I was just telling one of our clients this yesterday. Megan was on the phone, and basically what our marketing strategy right now is that text is for Google and video is for humans. So we write a lot of text, a lot of content, but it's very jam-packed with technical words that we kind of assume that isn't gonna be read by 99% of people. Maybe someone will stumble upon it, so of course it needs to make sense. It can't just be actual like gibberish that's on like a keyword dump or anything like that. But it is mostly made for Google. It's mostly made for the spiders that crawl SEO, so you can get found on a search. So we'll have a lot of questions in there, a lot of specific ways that we word sentences, and that is specifically for Google spiders, because we want to get caught on a page that, if someone's looking for like, oh, how do you market cheese in Martin County? Something very specific like that. We do keywords that are around that, and we base a whole page of content on that because we want to get found on a Google search. But our videos are for people. Videos will make that more entertaining. We'll make that more of a straight through story, informational, shorter form, something that will be enjoyable for a human person to actually watch. So typically what we do on websites is we'll have a video on top, so the second a human being gets on there, they can watch that video, and then, they got the gist of it. Maybe they'll read some headlines down the page, the specific points, but they're not going to read all the context that we have underneath it. And then on that same page, we have all the text for the Google spiders. And I think that's a great 1-2 punch to get found on Google, and then at the same time, be entertaining and informational for the human person. And so that's kind of what we're sticking to. And that is more of a, I'd say modern approach. If you were like maybe 10, 15 years ago, though, that written context, for mommy bloggers or blogs or anything like that, that was important because people, were going to those websites to read something, to be, informed and maybe entertained on those websites. But now that the internet is so much faster and more robust, you can put longer videos or shorter videos on websites, no problem, and they play instantly, and there is no like technical gap in between there. So that we do the videos on top for the humans, and then we do the content, the written content below that for the spiders. So I just went on a tangent. I do that a lot. We'll bring it back to the organic content that we were talking about, how you can grow your business with Megan.
Yes. Okay. So all great tips. We're going to talk, let's go back to the very beginning. And again, this can apply if you already have a brand or business, you've already established yourself online. I mean, you have 1 million followers online. All of this could still work. It's always good to reevaluate and see where you're at. So number 1, say you're sitting there, you don't even know where to begin, or you already have a brand and you're like, hey, I need to come up with content, and how the hell am I going to do this? What am I going to talk about? Okay, first of all, start with you. An easy way to do this, first of all, most people online are trying to be something that they're not, and that doesn't work. You need to be authentic. So if you're selling, I guess in terms of like from a seller's point of view, if you are really passionate about selling, it's a difference if you're selling like lawn chairs, for instance. I always talk about lawn chairs, but if
I love that.
Yeah, it's always lawn chairs.
Unsolicited, she always brings up lawn chairs.
I don't know what's wrong. I don't even what's wrong with me. I'm obsessed with lawn chairs. So you're talking about you're selling lawn chairs, but think of it as like you show up and the cameras and you're like, these are great lawn chairs, buy them. It's like,
look at these pretty colors.
Nobody, if you don't believe what you're saying, no one's going to buy your product. And so that applies to just being online. So for instance, we have like I've worked with people who are even like a chef or a motivational speaker, and they're not necessarily selling anything online, but they need to build up their brand and audience, and they basically just use social media, keep those people informed. And they're being themselves. They basically start at ground zero. They think about what they want to get across, what they're passionate about, what makes them uniquely you. So the best way to do this is to start by writing 20 things that make you uniquely you. Even if it's something as simple as making a sandwich, like write down, I make a fantastic sandwich. Focus on things that you are good at. So whether that's a skill, an appearance, something that you love about yourself, what activities do you love, what values do you stand for, what would you love to do? And this mainly applies if you really don't even know where to begin and you don't have a brand or business yet. Obviously, if you're already a business owner, you're going to know what to start posting about if your main goal is to sell on social media. So it's a little simpler for more established businesses. But if you're more of a creator or you own your own business, it's good to really just start by finding out what you're passionate about, what you want to talk about, and how you want to impact the people who are consuming your content. And just a side note, I love creating content because I feel like it's a constant exploration of self. If you're creative in any way, creating content, one, like keeps your creative juices flowing. Two, you're creating a piece of something. It's a piece of content. So it's very like, if you like expressing yourself that way, it feels very fulfilling. So if you're doing it in line with, your authentic self and putting out content that's in line with that, I think it can be really powerful because you can reach a lot of people with your message, whether that's to sell lawn chairs or you want to change someone's life and give them, life advice. That's it.
Yeah, and also I would say everyone has their unique spin on everything.
It's true.
So, if you're adding your experiences and everything about your life to your lawn chair business, that's probably more interesting than Joe Blow just straight selling them 20% off because, he has nothing to say.
Think of it as, I love doing marketing because I love storytelling. And I think when you can work with someone and really kind of like pull out what they're passionate about, what they want to get across to people, it's really cool because you start learning about yourself more. And just like Corey said, that can apply to a business. Like it would be much more appealing to me if I saw somebody who was selling lawn chairs and they talk about how, their grandfather sold lawn chairs and it's a family business and why they're selling lawn chairs and why they're passionate about it. Mm. It might sound silly, but that's way more interesting than someone who's just like, buy the lawn chair, buy the lawn chair, buy the lawn chair. Like,
I got this from a distributor. I don't know where they come from, but they're 10% off.
Exactly. And because the time of a more like corporate, distant approach to marketing is kind of passé. People are now really resonating with personal experience, personal stories, vulnerability, even if you are a business. So again, don't think of this as some like frou-frou, I'm a artist and I want to make like art online. This really can apply to anyone.
Yeah, I was actually just listening to an interview with the CMO of Pollo Loco, like a fast food joint, and they were saying, and this is a huge corporation, they sure billions of revenue every year, and they totally came out of network television, which was that big, broad, we want to make everybody, like this big production, we want to, relate to everybody, super passe kind of thing, took all that money and put it into TikTok, making organic TikTok posts that were way more specific, way more geared towards certain people. It might offend some people. It might really engage some other people, doing different videos like that for different audiences on TikTok. That's what they did. And they saw huge uptick instantly, and that's where it's going. Social media is kind of changing how, those bland, open, just drinking a Coca-Cola
salesy
can. Yeah,
you need a story now.
Yeah, now it's like mini short films or something like that
exactly.
Yeah, it's great, which is why me and Megan are flourishing so much, because that's what we did. We're filmmakers. Yeah, and so we turned that filmmaking into marketing, and it's just almost like perfect timing for us.
It's really being able to take a short story and putting it on film. And I think it can be really empowering. And so I think that if you're not motivated to get on social media and, do it for your brand or business, think of it in the way of how many people you could reach with your unique message. I think that's really cool and empowering and goes far past just trying to sell something for the sake of just making money. Obviously everyone wants money, but I think if you have a bigger purpose behind it, it could be really impactful. Okay. Next, after you do all that soul searching, you're going to figure out your ideal client and think of this person as a real human being. This isn't just a stat. This is a real person. So write down, for instance, what their personal attributes would be. What are their professional attributes? What are their aspirational goals? What are their struggles or pain points? Maybe they need something that you guys can give them. We are going to be right back with this and much more.
We'll talk all about this right when we get back.
Welcome back.
Hey, we're back.
With Let's Get Digital. This is Megan.
And I'm Corey.
And we are talking about creating organic content for your social media, whether you are a new brand, business, person, creative, dog, I guess, whatever. Animals are on social media.
Yeah, and they're killing it.
And they make a lot of money. Some of them have millions of followers. It's kind of funny.
Time. Brand deals, everything.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about creating organic content. First, we talked about coming back to the very basics and figuring out who you are and what you want out of social media, what is special about you, what you can provide other people based on your unique skill set, life experience, etc. Okay, then we were talking about finding your ideal client, and basically it's important to identify a real person behind this. Don't think of it as a stat. Think about it as a real human being. So you can ask yourself, we were just saying this before the break, but what are their personal attributes? What are their professional attributes, aspirational goals, struggles and pain points? For instance, is there something you can help them with? What do they enjoy doing? Why would this person want your product or service? It's a really good question to ask. And you can also do some searching, obviously, on social media, see what your competitors are doing, who they're targeting, and start adding those people as friends. Go in and just start adding them, send them a message, tell them what you do. I would not come, barreling out of the gate and say, buy my product. You really think of it as nurturing an actual relationship.
Yeah, and so in marketing, we call this mythical person that's your perfect client and avatar. And so you're creating your ideal avatar. And this is typically made on, you'll try a bunch of different things, and then you'll use this thing called Google Analytics, which gives you analytics on everything, who goes to your website, how long they are there, where they're from, what they look like, everything like that. And so our plan usually is to try a bunch of different things and see what resonates and get the demographic data from Google Analytics, and then say, hey, you probably, and you're gonna be wrong, I'm sure. Your first idea is probably gonna be wrong, and you just see that ideal customer, and then you hit that customer hard. That's the one that you're gonna start making the content for. for one of our clients, they were based out of North Carolina. We thought, oh, okay, all of our clients are going to love the auto industry, NASCAR. They're going to be out of North Carolina. And then after, a lot of trial and error, we found out that our best customer, most valuable customer was a 50-year-old woman in Washington State. And we were like, what? Like the whole company is ran by guys in their 20s, and it just resonated well with someone that we would have no idea. And because we had that demographic data, now we know, and now we're making content for that specific type of person.
Exactly. You don't want to miss out on people who you might be shocked by. Like, we've worked with CBD companies were definitely geared towards more men, like CBD dip pouches. You think like hunters, fishers, stuff like
folk.
country. Yeah, like people who are out in the wilderness, they like that stuff. And a lot of women liked it. A lot of like minority women. Like we were shocked. It was kind of way more women than we thought really loved this product, and that was mind blowing to me. Like we would go to trade shows, and the women were the ones who'd come up to us, and we were like, all of our marketing was geared towards men. Like, it was really funny, but it was easy because then you can shift gears and start targeting more women, even if it's something that you're kind of shocked about.
Yeah,
you just don't know.
You could keep it, like agile and speedy if you're a small company, and you totally shift your gears. Like if you're a big company, you probably already have millions of dollars into the wrong avatar, and you're like, okay, well, we got to ride this out until we can switch. But if you're a small company, you can switch on a dime.
It's true. Exactly. Just start, catering your content to a more, for instance, in that case, female base. Okay, so after you do this, you have your ideal client, you know what you're bringing to the table, you're going to create a strategy and a plan. And I'd like to say that, and we've talked about this in past episodes, specifically about each platform and how to kind of start creating for those platforms specifically. But right now, I want to emphasize that when you create a strategy and plan, yes, it's important to come up with what type of content you want to create. It's not ideal to just throw out whatever you want. You have to think about how each piece of content you could put out is going to affect the people who you're trying to target. So a lot of people, and I've totally fallen into this, will just post on social media, and then you're sitting there like refreshing to see how many likes or how many views. And you're like, it's like an ego thing. You're doing it to just get validation, which is, it's very normal. It's part of human nature, and these platforms have, created this problem for a lot of people where they're constantly seeking this validation online. But I want to remind everyone that when you're creating content, especially if it's, whether it's to make money or change someone's life, it doesn't matter if, you get 1,000 likes or 2 likes. If one of those 2 likes gets you a sale or gets you a new fan, who cares? There could be 1,000 likes and no, you don't have one sale or one true fan. It's just people who are like, oh, that's a cool picture. Like, that's why it's really important to be passionate about what you're doing, because if you're not, it'll totally be a vanity thing, and it's just completely run by your ego. But if it's something that you're really passionate about, or you really want to sell, don't worry about the amount of likes or views, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, and going back to that example I said most valuable avatar was the woman in Washington. The more quantity we had were the people we were hitting at first, the young male auto demographic. We had more quantity, but they weren't as valuable because they weren't as high spenders.
Yep.
So once we switched, that's when the revenue jumps. That's using the marketing and the content to your advantage for commerce.
Absolutely. Yeah. That, like, there is a blogger I've worked with who has about 75% of her demographic on Instagram is male, but she wants to sell to women. And so now she's tried to shift a little from less like, I guess sexy pictures that men would want to more fashion forward. This is how I accessorize this dress. And that's obviously brought more women on board because she wants to sell to women. The men aren't going to be sitting there buying bikinis. I mean, maybe a few for their like girlfriends' wives, I
Probably-
guess.
probably
But
the guys that are staring at those bikini pictures don't have wives.
yeah, exactly. So like think that's a great example of how, yes, you could get thousands of likes, but is it the likes you want?
Yes.
Okay. So you've done that. Now we're going to create goals. So say you want to pick up at least 2 customers or clients on social media within 3 months. Write that down. Figure out how you're going to go about doing that and create a roadmap. Or say you want to increase your social media engagement by 15% over 6 months. Great. Just make your goals personal and specific. And all of these apps, I know like Instagram makes it really easy where you can, especially if you have a business profile, which if you don't, all that requires doing is creating a Facebook page, which you should do anyways. We've talked about this a lot. And then linking that Facebook page to your Instagram, which is very easy. If you don't know how to do that, literally Google how to link Facebook page to Instagram account. And there's so many videos, articles, etc. But that will allow you to see all of your stats and how you're doing. So if you're focusing on, for instance, more engagement, you want 15% more engagement in the next 6 months, you can literally track that on the app. It's very simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, you've started to create content. Let's go back to lawn chair example because I have a problem and I'm obsessed.
I said it last time, but I'll say it again. We need to start a lawn chair business.
Yeah, I don't know.
All this marketing advice for lawn chair businesses.
Maybe
we got to do it.
Maybe because I love laying at the beach on a lawn chair. I don't know where this is coming from. Okay. Ask my therapist. But basically you're going to start putting out content. So say you got this lawn chair business, you're killing it, super passionate about lawn chairs. You've created, for instance, I think this would be really cool from the filmmaker part of me, but how about a mini series on social media about how you make a lawn chair or how your lawn chairs are manufactured? Each video could be a minute long. You do, 5-10 of them. That's so cool. I guarantee your competitors are not doing that.
Yeah, and that brings us back to the difference between organic media and paid media, because the way you would make that, it would be completely different. The organic would be more informational. The series, like Megan just mentioned, how you make it, all that stuff. It could be more longer form. It could have the story behind it, the story after it, how, all the feels, everybody feels great about it because it's so organic and nice. Versus a paid ad would be much shorter. It might have a little story, but it better be 1 sentence long and then go straight into why you need to buy it, why this is available now, running out of time, here's a sale and everything like that. So it's just so much different, and you got to plan that from the beginning in your strategy of what you're going to do. You can make organic content into sales content, but it's much easier and, going to be more fluid if you start with a plan in the beginning and you're going to make this for organic or you can make this for paid. Very
true. And it's always great to do a combination of both, obviously. It's just organic obviously saves a lot of money. And again, say you're interested in actually making a mini series, not for a lawn chair company. Say you're a makeup brand. Cool. Talk about why you started this company, why you're passionate about it. Maybe you use only clean ingredients. That's very big right now. Whatever. Talk about that. And it could be, again, all of this can be filmed on your cell phone. You don't need expensive cameras. If you do want a higher quality, higher budget thing, we do that all the time. It's what we specialize in. I think we have really great prices, better than anyone else's.
Great prices, great quality. If you're in the Treasure Coast or anywhere in South Florida, hit us up, wakeandmakemedia.com.
Wake and Make Media. But yeah, creating a mini series, what a cool idea. And people, I guarantee they're going to really connect with your product and remember it. Even if they don't buy it right away, it will be memorable. Okay, so then you are going to start interacting with people. You've posted your content, you know where you want to go, you have your goals. You're going to start, a good way to do this is to literally start asking questions. You can post on your, for instance, Instagram story or your Facebook page. Ask your followers what they'd be interested in learning. Would you be interested in learning about the history of my company? Would you be interested in buying this product in purple instead of red? Ask them. Don't just blindly post content without a strategy. Really think about what people would want.
And what a better place to get your content ideas from the people that are consuming your content, right? Like there's no guessing involved. They just told you what they want to see.
Literally. And you can do like, I literally tried this yesterday with this experiment on my Instagram and my Facebook about I was watching a girl. Her name is Molly Mahoney. She's a social media strategist. And I was watching a lecture she gave, and she was talking about how important it is to interact with your followers and to ask them questions. And she suggested to just ask your followers if they liked Brussels sprouts. She said, write Brussels sprouts, yes or no. She said, right now, put it on your Instagram and your Facebook, which I did. And that has nothing to do with my brand. But I got so many responses. My Facebook is so inactive, and it's like the most action I've gotten on my Facebook in like 5 years.
People are passionate about those Brussels
Maybe
sprouts.
10. Yeah, it's so stupid, but people are really wanted to respond because you're interacting with them. Like, you're like, hey, answer this question. That and my Instagram, I got so many responses. I was shocked. I did it before I went to bed, and this morning I was like, oh, whoa, people really wanted to answer the question about Brussels sprouts. So, and I realized she was totally right in the sense that people just want to have a conversation. That's why they're online. They want to be a part of community. They want to feel included. And what better way to do that than literally straight up talking to them?
Yeah, I think polls and questions and those things that you could put on your Instagram stories are great. One of our clients is a bar, like a sports bar, and I used to just make story posts that said, who's going to win today? Is it going to be this team or this team? And the views and the engagement went up tenfold.
Yep.
It would be a cool picture I put next to a poll that I just made, who's going to win, and the poll every single time had way more views, way more engagement, and then follower count went up. People are engaging with it, and then they're thinking about it. Oh yeah, I think this team's gonna win. Where am I gonna watch it? Oh, I'll watch it here. I'll watch it at this sports bar.
Yep.
So it's got a strategy behind it.
Exactly. And again, keep in mind that whenever you ask a question or you post a piece of content, like, people will see it, and if they're not buying or like engaging with you right away, they're still seeing that, and you're establishing some sort of relationship with them, and they're going to remember you. So again, we've said this like every episode, but patience is key, especially with social media. Think of it as you're really creating like a story. You're telling a story, and that doesn't happen overnight, and it's constantly evolving, and you're going to just go with it. And it doesn't matter if you get thousands of likes. You are trying to target a specific audience that is in line with you and your values, and it doesn't mean that you need to be unbelievably famous on social media. You just need a community to resonate with.
Yeah, no one gets it right on the first time. If you did, then go buy a lottery ticket.
And then also give us some of the money you win.
Right. I'd say most of it.
Well, yeah, like 70-30.
Yeah.
Like
we get media.com, just send it over.
Yeah, exactly.
We take Stripe, we take credit card.
We'll take anything. Yeah.
No, but you gotta keep trying things. You gotta see what works for your avatar. You gotta,
Yeah,
you never made it the first time.
It's different. Another thing is also, I want to say this too, which is pretty obvious, but Gary Vee says this a lot. He's like a big digital marketer strategist, and he was talking about, he gave a speech and he was talking about how a girl came to him and she was talking about how when she posted, she had like hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. And I think she was specifically talking about Instagram, and she was telling him that she wanted to stop posting bikini pictures, but every time she posted herself in a bikini, she'd get thousands of likes. But her real passion was like natural medicine, so like homeopathic medicine. But she said, but whenever I post about that, I get like 50 likes and people stop following me. They unfollow me. And he said, so do you like posting sexy pictures? No. You said it makes you uncomfortable now. You don't want to just be known for someone who's in a bikini, which if you did, that's totally fine. But that's not what you want to be known for now. And it's okay to shift gears. So don't sit there and do it to feed your ego. Do it because you're passionate about doing it. Even if you're losing followers, because it's going to get old if you keep doing the bikini thing. So
yeah, again, the valuable avatar you're going for. I'm sure that more valuable one is the homeopathic thing.
Exactly, like
bikini pics.
Guys in the Middle East who are probably commenting on your picture, like they're not going to buy anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so that next, it's important to determine the right mix of content. And if you're starting from scratch and you're not sure what types of content to post, we suggest using the 80-20 rule, which says that 80% of your posts should inform, educate, or entertain your audience. And then 20% should directly promote your brand. So think about how big of a difference that is. That's 80% is mainly should be what we were talking about, organic content, where you're either telling a story, you're, educating, you're entertaining, but you're not like, hey, buy my lawn chair.
Right.
It's a lawn chair again. Yeah.
Lawn chair. You got to talk about the structure, how much you put into making everything, like the story behind it, and that what makes a great lawn chair that just so happens to be 20% off today.
Exactly. And there's also there's a social media content marketing rule of thirds if you don't want to do the 80-20. That's usually how I think of it. But this one, basically a third of your content should promote your business, convert people, or generate profit. So that's a little more, but a third of it. And then a third of your content should share ideas and stories from thought leaders in your industry or like-minded businesses. So for instance, I was just talking about Gary Vee. Okay, maybe I post a graphic with a quote from him, or I talk about a strategy, a tip that I just got from him. That would fall into that category. And then another third of your content should be personal interactions with your audience. So like we just talked about, asking questions, polls, even interacting, like a video with at the end said, let us know what you think about it in the comments.
Yeah, replying to comments, do Q&A, that kind of stuff. Engaging with the people. They're not just mindless drones,
exactly.
To your community.
And in terms of like how often to post, you don't want to go crazy. And this changes so frequently. Like a few years ago, marketers would say post on Instagram 4 times a day, every day. Like Gary Vee always says that. He was like, post, keep posting. But right now, really, we'd suggest for instance, Instagram, about 3 to 7 times per week. People don't want to be inundated again anymore on Instagram. There's so much content on there, and so it's at this point it's probably going to get lost if you're posting like twice a day, every single day. I don't think you have to do that. Facebook, I recommend 1 to 2 times per day. Once a day is fine. Again, that's pretty often. If you can't do that, it's okay. Twitter is more 1 to 5 times per day because people are just really like quickly interacting. And LinkedIn, also 1 to 5 times per day. And that's because those two are more of a, you're typing, you're like literally directly interacting with people, especially on Twitter.
More in real time.
More in real time. So, you could just put up a little blurb. It's not like I'm going to craft this beautiful video, spend 3 days doing it, and then post it, and then post something immediately after. You don't need to do it like that. It could be just very simple pieces of content.
Yeah, I'd say with the TikTok, the Instagrams, the YouTubes, I'd say quality over quantity for sure. Like, that you can spend 2 days making something of quality rather than dumping out 10 quantity, like things that are ugly and, that aren't very useful to anybody. You can spend more, time making quality for the videos. And
it's true. It used to be, I feel like the newer the platform, the more quantity you could produce, like because there's not as much content on those platforms yet. So if you put out, like when TikTok first started getting big, I mean, people were talking about posting up to 6 times a day.
Wow.
Because
videos too. You can't post anything but videos on there.
Exactly. So like that's, I mean, what else would you do all day? That's that's your whole day.
A lot of dancing videos.
But these apps are pretty saturated now. So I think you could chill out unless you're a content creator who's really trying to grow. You're really focused on gaining an audience. That's your main goal. That's fine. We've said this before, but the best platform to get on right this second and post a lot on is YouTube Shorts. I posted a video last night. I have 120,000 views on it. I got about under 1,000 views on it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So
Shorts are really blowing up. YouTube Shorts. And what I really like about it as well is that it's searchable. So it's viral and searchable at the same time. Where like Instagram Reels or TikToks, you can't really search for that thing.
Can you explain that? Like, because I think that's a really good point. I mean, so if you were to Google like, can you like if you were to Google Instagram and then explain the video, you're saying it wouldn't come up, whereas it would for YouTube?
Yeah. I think if we'll bring it back to lawn chairs. If you Google lawn chair creation or something like that, Google owns YouTube, so what's going to go to the top of the search is probably that really cool video that you made about it. If you do the same thing, an Instagram Reel is definitely not going to show up in that search. Neither is a TikTok. If you go to the platforms and search on Instagram or something, you search lawn chair creation. I don't know. I doubt that that'll come up. Maybe
you're right.
Maybe a profile with that name would come up, but it's definitely not going to be that video, the best video that you made, or something like that. It's going to be pretty randomized, and the search is going to be different whether I search it or Megan searches it or Joe Blow searches it. It's going to be different every time based on what they like in their Instagram. But if you do it on Google, it's going to be the same for all of us, and that means more eyeballs going towards that video.
So that means every time you post a short or just a regular video on YouTube, and remember, shorts are the vertical videos, so it's like competing with TikTok and Instagram, Instagram Reels really. But every time you do that, you're going to basically go higher and higher on Google. So think of it like that. It definitely will help, even just in terms of if somebody's Googling you or your business online, that will come up. Okay, finally, once you've done all of this, you've created your content, you've interacted with people, you have determined the exact right mix of content, you have some sort of content calendar or strategy. Let's take a step back and do an audit of what's going on, see what's working and what's not working, and reevaluate, which I think a lot of people forget to do, and they get so fixated on creating the same exact content, even if it's not working for their audience, which is fine. If you don't care about that, then you could do whatever you want. But if your goal is to grow, it's always good to just sit back and figure out where you're at now and how you can do better. And again, if you've been using social media for years, just take stock of your efforts so far. Ask yourself some of the following questions: what's working? What's not working? Who's engaging with you? Which networks or social media platforms does your target audience use most? So if you're posting on Instagram and Facebook and you realize you get like no traction at all on Facebook and you're blowing up on Instagram, cool. Focus on Instagram. That's great. Or maybe it's the opposite. Just, tailor it to what's doing better. And then ask yourself, how does your social media presence compare to your competition? I think it's super unhealthy to sit online and compare yourself all day, every day, which social media can definitely make you do. But it's also important to check in and see what your competition's doing, and maybe you could get some ideas from them, or maybe they're bombing and failing at what they're doing, and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, you borrow some ideas.
Exactly.
It's not stealing, it's
borrowing. And then once you collect all this information, you're going to be ready to start thinking about ways to improve and make your content better. Yes. So
love that. Yeah, I mean, and then there's so much analytics, so much way to get data now, that as you go along and as you keep on posting and everything like that, you're just collecting more and more data, and that will help you in your audit. That will help you show, like, maybe you thought this post was going to be for a certain group of people, but it totally was not. And excuse me. And so you take that data that you're gathering constantly and you make a different post for that other demographic or something, along those lines. And that's super valuable because that's how you can build on your strategy. So audit, strategy, keep on changing, keep on growing, progressing, and making that content that is working for your audience.
Yep. And one other tip I'm going to say really quickly is, when you are starting to create content on these platforms, it's like one of the most important things to do is to be clear in your messaging and what you're providing. I think people get really lost if they go to a page and they have kind of no idea what's going on. For instance, let's think about this lawn chair thing again. I need to come up with a new example after this. This is ridiculous. Okay, say it's a lawn chair company. Great.
No. Well, this whole season is going to be about lawn
chairs. All right, we can't change it. Sorry. Okay, so when somebody goes, for instance, to your Instagram profile, I want to see, like, when I glance at that, I need to know within seconds that you are a lawn chair company. Like, if you say, like, love my life, Virgo, Florida living, that's your bio, your biography and Instagram. That's the very top of it. Like, I'm not going to know you're selling lawn chairs. What does that even mean? I know you're a Virgo. I know you live in Florida.
Yeah.
But just keep the messaging very clear. And that also includes the messaging in your content. So, yes, like, I love being creative. I love going off and doing random weird things. But especially if you're a brand or business, think about the same thing for each piece of content. Like, you need to be focused, and people need to know what you're talking about, because people have very short attention spans, like we've been saying. And if they don't have an idea, they're going to come to your page, be like, I don't know what's going on here, and then leave.
Yeah, that's called a bounce rate. Is when people
Oh.
go on your site or go on your thing and they just immediately leave. High bounce rates are very bad. That's the last thing you want, and that can be a series of things that make that bounce rate high, like your website loads too slow, or like Megan's example, they're just confused.
They don't know what's going on.
And that's bad. You want to look at your bounce rate on your analytics and stay far away from gaining on the bounce rate.
Yeah, so start creating. This weekend's a perfect time. It's beautiful outside, great weather. Go take a stroll, film yourself at the beach. Have fun.
Give us some information, engage with your audience.
Engage with your
And
audience.
then a little tad of sale, a little sprinkle of salt, a little sprinkle of sales on there.
There you go. Have a great weekend, and we will be back next week with Let's Get Digital. Wow. This is Megan.
And this is Corey, and we are with Wake and Make Media, wakeandmakemedia.com. Remember, you can watch all of the episodes on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out on YouTube, where we film and we put these videos up.
Bye.
See you next time.